I live my life just right enough to the point where I'm never truly struggling. Never truly struggling. But that's, that's a skill in itself that I learned before
It
anything else.
is, because like when you see God, God's like, bro, you'd be like, at least I was a good person, right?
God's like, we can't fault you on that.
Kendall, you should have tried harder. You're like, I didn't do anybody any wrong though, and you're like, you got me on that one though. You got me on that one. You're right.
He's like, because I used to think about this a lot too. The 7 deadly sins, right? I don't have a lot of pride. I do have pride, but I don't have a lot of it. I don't envy others, right? I look at y'all and I appreciate the hard work and the money that you guys make. And other than that, y'all live your life. That's y'all life. I don't need none of that. I don't need none of this. This is cool to have around, but if I had to do what y'all do, y'all know I'd be in my house every day like these motherfuckers need me to show up to this bullshit thing. Like when we worked at SCDCA, every weekend I'd be at your house. I'd be like, they want me to show up on time on Friday. They don't even come in, right? So that's why I'm looking at y'all. I don't envy, right? And then lust, please. And then what are the other fucking three? Wrath. I do not have an ounce of wrath in my body.
Wrath, envy, pride, lust, sloth.
Sloth is my biggest one.
Sloth is your only one.
My biggest one, but I work enough. Gluttony. I am a little gluttonous, but not really. I don't want most things. I'm lazy. That's my biggest thing. Sloth. I don't have gluttony. I don't have
greed.
Greed's
the other one.
I do not have greed because I look at things that I want all the time and I go, shoot, it ain't worth $60. I'll tell you what. It could be. The last thing I bought that was upwards of $60 was a TV. And guess what? I bought that with gift cards.
See, that's Kendall though. He goes like when he goes up to the fucking big sky and talks to God. Hey, 6 for 7, God. Come on now. But
not even.
That's a pass.
I'm 7 for 7. Cause technically, I'm.
You're a sloth,
hard.
bro. You're a sloth.
I'm working hard though. I'm working hard. I'm doing my classes. I'm looking for a job. I'm maintaining my life. Right. I'm never like.
Sure, there's people who are worse sloths than you.
See, I got you. I got you in this argument against God when he talks to you about sloth. You're like, yo, you comparing me to others, God? We don't do that here. What are you talking about?
No.
Oh, you want me to work harder than them? But I'm not them, Lord. Come on now.
Nah, I'm saying
I work hard.
I'm saying if there's a solid baseline that I'm supposed to just barely pass in order to not be considered to have one of these deadly sins, I'm past sloth. I'm like, if it's like at 50, I'm making a solid 55. Right? Everything else about 60s, 70s, whatever, cool. Aside from wrath, I'm at 100 for that shit. I don't get angry. I mean, I get angry, man.
That's a great question. Video, what 7 deadly sins do you think?
You used to have wrath.
As of now. What do you feel like is the one that is conquering you the most?
It used to be envy and wrath. I don't know what it is right now. Right now, I just don't care enough for any.
Right. If there was like a deadly sin for like not giving a fuck, that's what he would have.
If there was like a love or something or like kindness, no.
He's at like a solid 70 across the board.
Vanille has no deadly sins, but has no virtues either.
Yeah. He's like hitting dead center on the alignment chart. Like,
Hope.
You're like, can you go to heaven? No.
Hope.
Can you go to hell? No. You're gonna just chill.
Right. You're gonna wait. We're gonna wait here.
Well, wait. Well, I could just see that. We'll wait you out. I got all day.
Right.
Let me know, God.
Like he would be at, like if there was a desk and there was that one angel that's like half demon, half angel, like judging him. He'd be like, you see that chair right there? You're gonna sit there until you either move off of the dead center of the alignment chart or something. And Vanille would just be like, how long does this last? Eternity. Oh, I'm good. Like, you would not do any. You would hit dead center for all of eternity.
I'm just sitting on the chair. What's with this guy?
Right. Like he wouldn't even have the drive, or like he wouldn't give enough fucks for him to either see someone going into heaven and compliment them, because he'd be like, nah, I'm hitting dead center. Like I don't even know you that well. I'm good. But if I had to guess one of the 7 deadly sins for you, it would have to be. I would have to say, nah, it can't even be pride.
That's what I thought. Yeah. It might have been.
It could
might
be
have
pride.
been.
It could be, but you.
I think if if you get me going, or like if we're playing basketball and someone says some shit, like maybe I'll say something back. But I still feel like that goes back to wrath more than pride.
But what I mean when I mean pride, I mean like think about Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, right? He was never like
pity everybody.
you don't pity everybody, but like when somebody's like somebody you don't give a fuck about is like Vanille, I need you, right? You do have it in you to go no, like nah.
Yeah, but usually I try to help people.
You usually try to help, yeah, because you're a good person, right? But like if somebody who was like full of themselves walked up to you and was all like, I'm from Angel Corps, right? Like I ran above all these people right here. Vanille, you need to go be doing that. You'd be like, what? You can't talk to me that way. Like I don't even know you. Like if Steve Jobs raised from the dead and was all like, who are you? Vanille, I need you to come work for me at my company right now. No questions, just get in the car. You'd be like, I'm sorry. You're dead. Get the fuck out of here, right? You stopped being relevant in 2018. Get the fuck out
Yo,
of
this
here.
motherfucker Steve Jobs apparently is trying to hit me up.
Right.
Who the fuck does this guy
Like
think he
Bill
is?
Gates could call you on your phone right now and he'd be like, Vanille, I know this out of the blue, but I got a big thing for you to work on, and it's gonna be big, it's gonna be huge. And you'd be like, right. You'd be like, sounds sketchy. Moving on.
Bill Gates, fake news.
I feel
Right.
like definitely like pre-2019 envy was definitely a big one.
I don't remember you being
Who'd you
very
envy?
envious.
But not like envy. I don't even know if it's like.
Greed?
No, it's like.
I had to struggle with greed for a long time.
I guess it's like envy, but like possessiveness. Like it was with girls, not like physical.
Then that would be more greed. Like you're like,
Or is
You're
it
like-
lust?
or
I
no,
don't think it was lust though.
no, it'd be more greed because it's like greed is the whole like, oh, they're with me, they're mine.
Yeah.
Right, they're mine. You don't know them, they're mine. That's what that is.
I've had envy at times, like growing up when people would get stuff and I didn't get it.
Here's the thing. Envy
Yeah,
is
but
this
that's
idea that you want what someone, like you want to be that person, or you want, right? Greed is just hoarding in a sense,
been,
right?
like,
Like you're like, this
I
is
was
mine.
Other people getting jobs real quick, and I wasn't. I'm like, damn, must be nice to be them. But after a while, like, cause the pandemic hit and they all lost their jobs, I was like,
Yeah, like you were chilling. So I think at best you have pride, but like you're still like I might, like we said, if we're saying 50 is what you need to pass to not be considered to have these deadly sins.
But it's probably like confidence though, because I feel like I'm never walking in.
Not confidence. Pride is not believing other people have the right or value to tell you what to do ever. So like Escanor, right? Escanor, he's a part of the 7 deadly sins, but nobody can tell him what to do no matter what. Aside from Merlin, and he only does that because he likes Merlin. Everybody else
Pussy whipped.
straight up. He was like, Merlin, my queen. You can do whatever you need, it's yours. But when that girl who was like one of the archangels was like, Escanor, I have a plan, I need you to do it. He was like, no. He was like, why? He goes, I am so-and-so of the archangels. He goes, and I'm Escanor. And who is that? And he's like, well, who are you? And he goes, I'm Escanor of the 7 deadly sins, the Lionson of Pride. And he goes, I'm the most supreme being ever. You don't say you're the most supreme being ever. But no one, what?
I was like, I don't have a god.
No, but no one, I have yet to meet anybody, and I mean this, anybody that can walk up to you and be like, do this. And you go,
But if I was
okay.
getting, like, if the roles were reversed, like you know how we're calling you out, if someone's calling me out, I'd be like, if it's accurate, I'd be like, all right, you're right.
right. Which is why we're not saying you really have pride. I'm saying if there was one that could
I would say pride.
apply to you, pride, and maybe a little wrath. I've seen your wrath. Your wrath can be a little scary. Your wrath is,
Yeah,
You're
if
right,
you're saying
you're
like baseline is 50, then I guess you could put pride at 50 and the wrath at 60 and everything at 70.
yeah, right. Like you're fine. For me, I believe I'm hitting a solid 50 on sloth. A solid 50, not above, not below, but like at least I'm enough to say I do things, and I try not to just lay in bed all day. But if I'm given the excuse to lay in bed all day, it's gonna be hard to fight me out of that mindset. What about you?
I don't know. What about me?
Is it gluttony?
It could be.
I don't feel like I don't eat. I don't.
You like
I don't eat like a fucking pig.
You could be greedy about value, your own self value. You don't believe there's a limit to how valuable you can be.
That's a fact.
And now that's a positive mindset.
Is that a
to
pride
have.
thing though? Would that be more pride then?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, that's pride too.
It could be pride.
Because I kind of do have that, but I also have that thing where I'm like, I do respect everyone else's level. I'm
Right.
not like,
You don't
you
pity
can't
them.
tell me what to fucking do. At the same time, people don't tell me what to fucking do.
Right. Like you don't pity people like you and Video. You both
I
don't
probably,
pity people.
I probably fail at pride. I'm probably not gonna lie. Like, to be honest,
You think you're below? You think you
probably
you drop below?
I think
50?
so. Maybe,
All right.
maybe,
No.
maybe. I don't know.
I know you're not. I know
Knowing
you-
myself and knowing how I think and art, like again, how I rationalize a lot of things, I'm very prideful.
I also feel like a lot of people don't usually have their shit together. So like when you come across people who do, it's kind of hard to tell them anything. That's
Right.
probably why most people don't tell.
Well, it's one of those things.
Right.
It's like, well, I mean, again, when I first started working back at the bar, it's like people were telling me what to do all the fucking time, but they only had to tell me once. You know what I mean? It was like, all right, you have the authority to yell at me about that because I did get that wrong. But guess what? You're not gonna do that again. I promise.
Yeah,
So if you yell at me twice about it, we gonna have a problem.
I feel
and
like
that's
my
pride.
dad-
I feel like that's pride.
My
What?
dad's probably the only one that's just like, you gotta do this or do that or whatever.
Yeah, but your dad's your dad. He is. If I'm being honest, he's hitting a solid 100 across the board, without question. He ain't greedy. He ain't envious. He ain't prideful. I have never seen his wrath. The only time he'll pretend to have wrath.
He's one of those people that bottles it up though. I feel like
Yeah.
he only
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
lust. Nah, I don't have that. Wrath. It's one of those things. I know it's there. I know it exists.
Yeah.
But in terms of it actually surfacing,
I would. Say
I could see my
maybe-
wrath going straight zero, but at the same time, I'm very controlled and disciplined to know that it won't get there.
I mean, again, if I could, I would say I might have lust, but that's just with porn. I don't look at people and go,
But that's
oh, I'd
lust.
hit. Right. But like, I can also go, oh, I forgot to masturbate today. God damn it. And then move on.
But still, I feel like watching porn is straight up in lust. That's a lust thing.
So then I'm probably hitting like a solid 30 on that. maybe even a flat
Oh,
zero.
you're taking 50s passing.
Yeah, you got to be above 50 to be considered like this sin does not actually affect you.
I think sloth, I'm at 100.
You don't have an ounce of sloth in your body. I know it for a fact because every time I hang out with you, every time I slept over at your house or we go to Reno or everything, y'all are waking up and I'm over here like, why are we up? You don't have an ounce of it in you. If you did not have to work at 8 p.m., right? When do you start your shift?
8:30.
8:30. If you did not have to work at 8:30, you would be up every day at 6.
Yeah.
You'd be
Earlier, bro. I'd be at like 5.
You'd be up at 5.
Yeah.
You'd be in bed by 9. You would be running this world. But your job is
I'm running the night, not the
Yeah.
day.
you're
Night
running,
guard.
You're running half the world. You ain't running the full thing. Me on the other hand, I ain't running shit.
Yeah, I don't envy at all. I don't have an ounce of that for sure.
What do you think is the worst one?
The worst of the 7 deadly
I feel
sins?
like it's greed.
Nah.
No, I feel like envy is pretty bad. I think greed is just. I think greed is objectively bad, but I think envy is like finding someone who envies other people.
Just 'cause you'll never
That's
be
toxic, dude.
Yeah.
That's toxic.
I just feel like greed gets you caught in that
Well,
never-ending cycle because nothing makes you like they both don't give you happiness at the end of the day.
right. But like,
I feel like you're willing to act more on envy than greed, though.
yeah. Like,
Or I feel like you're more heinous in envy because you are going after a specific something.
right.
Greed is just that hoarding in you that's like, I gotta have this, gotta have more. Like envy, you're like, damn, dude, if I was that guy,
Right.
I'm gonna be that guy.
Right.
I gotta take that guy out to be that guy.
Right. Like envy, you'll look at your boss and go, I deserve that position. Right. Greed, you'll look at your boss and go, I want to make that much money.
So I guess envy is more like I'll do whatever to get in this spot.
Yeah, envy will make you work. Envy will make you take worse
I
action.
feel like
than
envy
greed.
will create you more enemies than greed will.
Yeah. Like
Greed will just create a lot of people don't like you kind of attitudes, but envy, you just start making enemies.
what?
Right? I mean, that's like the world, right? Like, dude, Ukraine's looking real delicious. I want that.
Right.
I'm gonna take it. You're creating enemies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. What were you gonna say,
I
also?
don't know if I've ever met someone who's super envious.
Well, that's because honestly, though, like to be envious is to not appreciate anything in your life, right? If you have some appreciation for what you have, then you're not gonna be envious because, like I said, I look at y'all and I look at
no one envies. I'll be real honest with you, Neil. Everyone, I wouldn't say everyone. People envy what people have, But until you know the work that has to go through it.
Right.
That's the
I
thing.
feel like sometimes, like, I guess maybe when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, I wish like we had a bigger house or whatever.
Yeah.
But now I'm just, I don't really give a fuck.
Right. Because like again, like you put it perfectly. When you look at somebody who has something that you don't have, you go one of two ways. How do I get that? Or how did they get that? Right? Either way, you're gonna find out that to get what they have is to do work.
Do what they're
And-
doing.
Yeah, to do what they're doing. Like I look at
Well, I guess the only time I could see it is like if someone has like a silver spoon their whole life and you're like, I wish.
right. Like I look at the
I don't
Kardashians.
even wish that though.
What?
I don't even wish that.
I wish I had.
That's what most people.
I do.
It is that,
I
like,
do.
must
I have
be
a bronze
nice.
Spoon. I have a bronze spoon.
Like, it's one of those things. I bet you a lot of people envy the problems I have. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
yeah.
until they realize how I was able to get those problems,
right.
they probably wouldn't think that same way.
Right. I know. I mean, like, I look at you. I remember when you first started telling me about your problems, and I was all like, I mean, like, honestly, to have that problem, that specific problem, most men would bend over backwards. But once I understood the overall implications on how he got there,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, there's no way for me. I could never want that problem because to want that problem is to reject what I already have.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I don't know about you, but I don't think I'm ever going to find another woman like Cassie to take care of me like that. I don't think they exist. I think Cassie's like that one woman I would have found my entire life. I was like, all right, Kendall, all right.
I feel like lust is a huge one in our world. That's the most prevalent.
Well, now, yeah, because hookup culture is...
Yeah.
If
Well, just-
at 80, like OnlyFans run to like
right. Like on a global scale,
I think
Lust
we're-
was at like a solid 70, 80, and then OnlyFans became accessible and it was...
Well, set like lower, right? Because you need a 50 to
Oh,
pass.
yeah, sorry, it dropped.
Right.
jump from like a 50.
Yeah. Because that's...
Especially in the
I'll say-
U.S., dude. We're like the U.S. is probably our average is, in my opinion, if anyone who has access to the internet, your average is dropping, bro.
Exponentially. Like, because again, I got in trouble for that a long time ago. And Cassie was like, listen, I don't give a fuck if you subscribe to browsers, any of those websites that do it professionally and it's a wide range of people and whatever, right? I do have a problem with you going on TikTok, finding these specific ass women, and then going, oh, I need to see that one. That's a problem because you have me, and I don't know what that specific woman has that I can't give you. But if that's going to be the case, you need to think about that. I was like, you're right.
Yep.
And she also had a problem with it because she was like, you ain't got the money to be putting $10 towards some hoe on the internet. What are you doing with 10? You got $10. You could be doing something with that money. Kendall.
That's 2 coffees.
Right. It was like, your bank account went into the negative because you got that Chegg subscription going on here. You think you're going to subscribe to this hoe? And I'll be like, that's fair. That's fair. And also, it got to the point where she was like, she had logged into my my bank account on her phone,
Mm-hmm.
and she had turned on the notifications. So you know that notification we got in the car when I bought this Wiener Schnitzel?
Yeah.
She would get those. So every time I would be like, it'd be like 3 a.m. and I'd be like, you know, horny brain. I'd be like, ooh, this one, $5? That's not too bad. And I'd do it. And she'd wake up and she'd be like, come to bed. Come to bed. Cancel that. Come to bed. I'd be like, okay. So that was I think when my lust was like at its like lowest point. But then after that, I kind of got over it. I was like, cool. I still fall down the hole every now and then, where I'm like, I need to find this specific thing, but it'll make it free, and then I won't have to be in trouble. But nowadays, I'll be real. Nowadays, I'm just like,
Kendall be lawyering up real quick.
I-
Loopholes.
I feel like with most of the cheating is just like crazy.
you know, a high school.
Well,
meme
dude,
fuck.
success rate of love, right? That's constituting marriage, partnership, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That is, that success rate is low. Like if you were trying to like, what is it? Like craft like or like, you know how you do that in items.
Yeah.
All right, craft this item and you have like a success rate of 25%.
Yeah.
That's your success rate for marriage is like 25%.
I feel like cheating is probably a mixed round of greed and lust. You
Yeah.
know, like the grass is green on the other side.
Right. Well, I think when you're cheating on a partner, it's all lust because you're not really like looking over there like, oh, I want my partner and I want that person, right? You're probably going like, oh, I will love my partner, but for tonight, that one just oof. You know what I mean? And you're just like, well, I mean, now again, I've grown a lot since high school. High school me, as we all know, fucked around, and he found out, and he found out hard. And now I've learned that controlling that should be probably number 5 on my list of priorities. After that, discipline's still number 1, but it's like a to-do list I really get to.
Okay.
I think about it.
Cardinal virtue. Now let's go into.
Let's do the virtue.
Yeah, I'm trying to find them. Okay. There's chastity, faith,
Chastity.
good works.
What? Chastity though is like, yeah, chastity is like we don't need to have sex whenever one of us is horny.
Okay,
Yeah.
chastity, temperance, charity, diligence, kindness, patience, and humility.
I have charity. I know I got charity down pat. Humility, I struggle with. I do struggle with humility because I do think sometimes I am the baddest bitch.
Just being humble. Yeah, being humble. Dude, I actually kind of... humility is like a 50-50 for me. Because I try to stay humble about shit. But then when I start talking about certain things with people, I feel like I'm like, this is a humbling thing. But the way I make it sound or the way it's coming out makes it sound like I'm not being humble at all.
No.
I have a really hard time with... It's not being humble. It's trying to articulate humbleness.
Yeah.
In my
Right.
vernacular.
I mean, I love you, man. I do. But like, as somebody who looks like me, right? When you're like, I go to the gym, and if I'm late, like 1 p.m. If I'm not at the gym by 1 p.m., I'm late. I'm like, I know you're not being like, oh, I am that guy. I know that's not what it is. But I am gonna sit here and be like, oh, I go to the gym at 1 p.m. Oh.
I know, that's the thing. And I know that, dude. I know that. But it's like, it's one of those things. I don't talk a lot. When I'm not working behind the bar, I don't talk a lot. And people always call me out on that. And I'm like, dude, it's just like we're in 2 different worlds. If I talk about myself in any way, shape, or form, I feel like I'm gloating about myself, and I'm really not. I'm just talking about my day.
Right.
Like the other day, I saw this Veritasium video where it was like he was talking about like P-Addicts, which is like a new base. Like they're doing different bases for numbers, right? So like, binary has a 0, 1, right? And then our current base is 0 to 9, 10, right? 10 base.
Yeah.
They were talking about like a 3 base system, and I was like, oh, dude. I was like, and I literally just a little bit sprinkled it in just to see how people would react. Went to my coworker, I was like, dude, I was watching this video about P-Addicts, which is like this new thing they're doing in math where it's like a 3 base system. So it's 0, 1, 2. And then if you go past 2, it's resets, right? So now it's 1, 0s. You know what I mean? And I just saw my coworker kind of almost roll his eyes like, this fucking guy, of course. And I was like, never mind, I'm good.
Like, oh, of course, you're good at math. You're interested in though. Because like,
it's like, it is one of those things. They're like, of course you're that guy. Like, not only do you not drink a lot, but now you're trying to be an intellectual now? Who the fuck? And you work at a bar? Well, who the fuck are you? Who do you think you are? And I'm like, dude, this is just my interest. Like, I don't know how else to fucking relate except for all that superficial shit we talk about. Right. Jesus.
I mean, it's like, when you look at those guys that sit on Joe Rogan's podcast, I don't watch the Joe Rogan podcast, but I do watch their TikToks. And when they're sitting there and all like, this is how my life works. You wake up, you start making your money. Once you have that money, you go and you put it here and here and here, and that's how you're living my life, right? Those guys you don't look at them and go, oh wow, look how humble they are, blah blah blah. But ultimately, they're not trying to
fucking shoot their shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just telling you like, this is my hustle. This is how I work.
Yeah, this is just how I operate.
Right.
That's why I can't really talk about it, because I'm like, this is my operating system.
Right.
And it's like, no matter what I say about it, it's gonna make it sound like I'm trying to prove that I'm better than a lot of people. And I'm not. That's just how I fucking go about my shit. Like, if no one else existed in this world, I would still be waking up at 9 a.m. trying to fucking work out all the fucking time. Like, nothing would change.
Yeah, and I appreciate that in you, and that's why, like, I love that part of you. But it's like that part of you I like to watch from a distance.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Yeah, I like to be like, wow, look at him climb that mountain.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, I'll be in the ski lodge.
What's the difference between temperance and kindness?
Temperance is
I'm looking it up right now too. Yeah, temperance is voluntary self-restraint. One individual voluntarily refrains from doing. This includes restraint from revenge by practicing nonviolence and forgiveness, restraint from arrogance. So it's restraining yourself from choosing like a negative
So like
karmic
you know how
action.
So you,
Like the angel and the devil, you basically like making sure you're choosing.
right.
Essentially.
But I'll put it in something that relates to you, right? You know how I told you about half an hour ago how stop shooting at my core problems and let's look at it. Temperance would be okay. I see his core problems, but let's start him off. Let's start him off nicer because I could.
But wouldn't there just be kindness?
It would. They're kind of two and the same. You know what I mean? Kindness is your wanting to help me with my problems, but you don't have but you're not here to be patient and sit around while I deal with everything else. You're going to go to the core problem. Temperance would be, let me go ahead and I see his problems. I want to help him.
Temperance is refraining from choosing the wrong option. And
For the
kindness
harder
is
option.
choosing the option that benefits in terms of generosity,
Yes.
or like you're seeking out to help someone. Right. So you could be tempered without being kind.
Yeah.
Right. By not choosing to like, okay.
If you want to be
that's
kind
good.
and tempered, right? You go, all right, let's look at everything and let's gently move him in. Because if I go straight for the problem, he might take offense. Right? Now, tempered without kindness is you just going, okay, I could interject in this person's life, but I'm going to be, I'm going to let them do their own thing and I'm going to forgive them and love them for it.
Example, right? You're working with a coworker. Your boss comes in and asks you how he works, or like asks you about him, and he screwed you over some time ago, right? Temperance would be choosing to avoid saying all this bad shit about that person, because he fucked you over earlier. You know what I mean? Like that's choosing to be tempered.
Yeah.
It's withholding in yourself and restraining this option of choosing revenge or choosing, this option that will lead to a bad path, because it does.
Yeah.
Instead, again, you're not being kind either, because you're not being like, oh, this guy's the shit. This is the guy. No, you're choosing not to just fucking go, nah, this guy fucking, I'm ready to throw this guy under the bus. I'll avoid that option. That's temperance.
Yeah.
But let's say he's a good worker too. You go, oh no, this is the fucking man over here. That's starting to be kindness now,
Yeah.
right?
And you said chastity is you have to be a virgin, basically.
You don't
No,
have
it's
to be a
purity.
virgin, but it's choosing. It's like what Steve has right now, right? Like he'll have sex, sure, he'll get with people, but like he doesn't. It's not like a need, he's not out here like, all right, who am I bringing home tonight? He's like, do I feel a connection here? Is this something more than just a physical reaction?
Chastity is the opposite of lust.
It is.
Hold on. And let me hold that for a sec, because it becomes this thing where it's, say this is chastity, right? As you act on immoral sexual acts, right? Immoral, right? You're just fucking to fuck. That's when it becomes not chastity, right? Now, as he said, if it's something more than just a sexual physical act where you're going into it and you're not just going like, I'm just trying to get my nut. That's it.
Yeah.
If it's more than that, and there's more real intention behind it, then that's when it becomes not. That's when it becomes more of a chastised
I'll say
action.
that is Steve's strongest virtue.
So I think the four that I probably struggle with, two of them kind of, I guess, two and, okay, I think there's three. Two of them kind of go together, or three of them basically go together. They all kind of stem from me not having enough patience. Like the temperance thing still stems from me not having enough patience in my brain processing.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, let me just say the first thing that comes to mind. Let me actually think through and like be temperate about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then diligence is also the same thing. Like, oh, I could be like, what is it called? Like attention to detail. I could do that if I would just spend a little more time and be patient.
Yeah.
To just do it.
Right.
So I think the main one that I have an issue with is patience, which kind of makes me have issues with those other two.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I will. I have an ungodly amount of patience.
Such humility.
I
Just kidding.
No, it's fine.
Patience is like to the point where it's like bad.
I was gonna say I'm pretty up there too. My friend has called me out on that. He's like, sometimes you just sit there and take it to the point where you have too much patience.
Yeah.
Because that happens, dude. I'll get caught in a conversation, and I'm like, dude, oh my god, like, but I'm still sitting in the conversation.
Right.
Whereas my friend would just be like, fuck this, and just leave. I'm like, no, I'm here for it. Like, I gotta be patient. Like,
let's
I
see
gave
where
him,
this
I gave him
goes.
this time. Like
that first situation with the girl, where
Yeah.
everyone was like, bro, why would you tell her it's okay to come over? Like, you're just being way too patient
Yeah.
with her problems.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, get out of my life. I don't hate you, but I don't need this.
Right. And that's, see, like, that, again, though, I have a lot of patience, but it's applying that patience correctly is where my big problem lies. So I wouldn't say I have any of those I don't have a strong, like, thing in any of those virtues. Like, I don't have a stake
But
in
you're
any of
kind.
those.
I don't think.
I'm
Yeah.
kind, sure. Like, I have temperance pretty handled, right? But I don't have, like, what? Chastity, I do not have that handled, right? What are the other ones?
You have chastity handled.
I literally just went on about how bad I am when it comes to porn.
I guess, yeah, but.
If you look at my
yeah, come on, Vanille.
I was thinking not like porn. I was thinking just like with actual people.
with actual people, sure, but that's because I'm out here. I don't look at actual people and go, "Oh wow, you're pretty hot." I look at actual people and go, "Are you worth fucking up what I got going right now?"
All
No, get the fuck out.
We'll rattle them off real quick.
Okay.
Chastity,
No.
yes. Temperance,
Yes.
I would say yes. Charity,
Yes.
let me see what they describe charity as. What would we describe charity as?
I'll say this. Yeah. Because like
Then I
I'll
say
give you an
yes.
example of like my most recent act of charity was when I went out to that movie with Geetarth, right? He bought the ticket himself, and I was like, good. Cassie was even like, don't be spending money on this fool just because he doesn't have money on right. So, but he bought the ticket, and then he went to go buy a small soda and some Milk Duds, and his card got declined. And he was like, what am I gonna do? And I just went here, and I bought it for him. I wasn't expecting anything out of it. I wasn't even expecting a thank you or anything. I don't even think I got a thank you. But like, I did that just because I was like, listen, I know I don't have the most fond feelings for you, but I'm not gonna let you sit here and have this moment. So here you go. It's fucking $8. Let's move on.
I'm very willing to be charitable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charity is one of those things like you don't really know if you have it until an opportunity presents itself.
Well, it's the thing too. It's like it's hard to say because it's hard for me to rationalize it now because here, like charity, people are like, oh, do you donate to this cause or do you? That's charity, sure, but at the same time, like it's not. It is.
The easy way to check that box off.
Yeah.
I like to think charity is
Charity could also be like your time, giving people.
For sure.
yeah.
Like I helped him with his wealth.
You did.
That's
You came-
charitable.
when
I
you
didn't.
came out of nowhere. You didn't have to do nothing for me, Steve. You could be like, I'll be there in the morning. You're not going anywhere tonight, are you?
Just fucking rolled up.
Yep.
Okay. Charity, diligence.
Nope.
I feel like I have it, but it's just a patient. It's not like at top. Like it's at like a 40.
Yeah, I'm at a solid 20, maybe even a 10.
It's work ethic, the belief that work is good in itself. Fuck yeah.
Well, if it's work ethic, then yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it as like attention to detail. So I guess that's not.
No.
Well,
yeah.
it's the effort.
Yeah, diligence is the effort part of it. It's basically going, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to because it's better for me.
Never mind, I have that.
I have
I
none
have.
of that. All right.
Kindness.
I have that through the nose.
Do I? I want
Yeah,
to
of
say
course you
yeah.
do. We all-
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say yes,
It's
but
very rare you'll
Probably
find
at
someone
the
with
highest level.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
You don't get frustrated.
right.
Steve doesn't either. But
what?
I get frustrated, but like, I don't.
What's that kindness?
yeah, I'm just saying like he probably has the highest level of that because he has like.
Yeah, you just here to spread love, dude.
I mean, yeah, because I understand what it's like.
See,
to
that's the
not have
thing,
that.
though. His kindness is very pink,
Yes,
and my kindness is colorful.
I have like I'm a very solid. Prime example.
Your
right?
kindness almost can be kind of a detriment sometimes.
It can be sometimes.
Because you're like, bro, you got this, and like I'll be like, no, here's the real kindness. You need to step it up.
No, like here's
You need to hear that.
here's
That's me
like,
being kind.
my most prime example was I knew this girl who was like suicidal back in high school, and I basically like talked her through like how like suicide is probably not your best move if you're doing it because you're angry or sad at people, you should at best live your life out of spite, right? Be like, grow up, do big things, do great things, and then when those people come back to you, you can go like, you weren't there when I needed you, and I don't have to be here for you, right? But at the same time, she stopped having to talk to me because she was like, "You're too kind. You're too kind." Right? I get being kind. I get living your life not living your life or giving up on life because of other people. Sure, right? But I need someone who's gonna be like, "Hey, nah, fuck that. Get that shit out of your life and make sure they know to get that shit out of your life." I don't have that. Y'all do. Y'all will come to me and be like,
But we have different like ways of
You're just pure kind.
Yeah.
You're pure kind.
which is not
Which
fair.
is not. I mean, being pure is not always positive.
right. Pure
Right.
kindness has been a detriment to me though because of the fact that there are people in my life that people have gone to me and been like, they don't deserve it. They really
There's
don't.
some people that just take advantage of it because
Yeah.
100%.
Right. And I still go, I got more than enough to give, but it's still like you're not taking it and putting it in the right place. You're taking it and just losing it the moment.
It's almost
I
like
walk
you're
away.
giving people reassurance when they don't deserve it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got kindness. What was it?
he's going down.
So you don't have chastity, but you have all the other ones: temperance,
No,
charity.
I have temperance, charity, and kindness, but I don't have anything else.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. Patience.
I got that up. I got that too.
I
I
that
got
up the
4 of the,
nose.
how many are there? 7?
7.
I got 4 of the 7.
And then humility.
I want to say I hit a
I
solid
think I could
50.
pass on that one.
You could pass.
I think I could
I think we
pass.
could all pass. But I hit like a solid 50 because there are days where I'm all like, man, I wish I could be better. And, like
So what's the ones that you think you could work on the most?
diligence is the one I definitely have the most work to put into it. Chastity is I'm not, I could go either way with chastity because, again, my biggest detriment to that is the internet.
That's like the when that teacher's like, okay, we'll get rid of your worst test score. That's the one you want them to get rid of.
Yeah. If I want them to get rid of any test score, it's diligence. I want that. Throw it away. I'll work on chastity. But diligence, if I could honestly find a way throughout life without learning that, I would take it.
And mine is patience and temperance. But I think my temperance is better now. It's just but it's not better for the right reasons.
What do you mean?
It's not better because I'm actually temperance. I just don't care.
Right.
So it's
But that's still temperance though. It's like that whole monk mentality thing. Remove yourself from the physical world.
I'm just like,
Like if you can remove yourself from the physical world and enact those virtues still, then you're fine.
Yeah.
But if you're like, oh, I need to be tempered so that way people will look at me better, then you're not doing it for the right reason. It's both sides. I think you're more healthy with it. Because
I don't think I've ever been decided where it's like I need people to like me. I
Right.
just accept it.
Yeah, I don't care.
I like it when people like me.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard
I feel like for me, and this is the way I'm gonna phrase this is gonna make it really clear that I need to work on this one the most. Like, I need to be able to better articulate my humility. Just from that key phrase right there, I need to work on my
I
humility.
picked that right because another word was pride. So.
Yeah, well, that's the antithesis of it.
Right. Yeah.
So of course it makes sense.
right.
Um,
I guess because temperance is what wrath.
no, gluttony,
oh, interesting. I thought diligence.
chastity and lust, temperance and gluttony, charity and greed, diligence and sloth, kindness and envy, patience and wrath, and then humility and pride.
Temperance is gluttony because
Oh,
it's
okay,
withholding.
controlling,
Yeah, you're
But
withholding.
it's only from a food standpoint.
Well, no, gluttony takes
It's just
over anything, right?
It's overindulgence. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's like, yeah, overindulgence is a perfect example of that. Like I didn't need 2 hot dogs, fries, and this big water. I ate the fries, I drank the water, and I ate half that hot dog.
And now I'm like, if it's just overindulgence,
It's going like, this is what I need to sustain, and then this is the little barrier that I have that's like all right. And then if you pass that threshold, that's where you start getting into
I guess
gluttony.
it's like what you said. It's like, okay, this is a level of like what I should be saying to them, but I'm always taking it.
Perfect example. Coupon shoppers who or those guys. I think your dad does this, right?
What?
Where they just start buying a shit ton of like
they just
hand
buy things.
sanitizer
Yeah.
just to have it. That's gluttony, right? Like you have 300 things of hand sanitizer. You don't even need 2 of them.
Like my dad, I came when I visited him yesterday. I found these things he had on his table. They were like little like stakes,
Yeah.
right, for like poking holes in metal so you can put like screws in.
Mm-mm-mm.
He said he bought 4 of those when he needed the one, and then he found out he didn't even need the one, and but now he's like, now I got them, so now I'm gonna keep them in, and now they're here. I'm like, you're never gonna use them, throw them away.
So those were the capital virtues. Let's go into the theological virtues.
What is that?
Just 3 of them.
Okay.
It's faith, hope, and love.
I'm strong on 2 of those bitches.
I feel like we're all strong on 2 of them.
Well, I don't know. For me, it's love and not faith. What's the third?
Hope.
Hope.
Yeah, that's
I
just-
got
all
hope.
the same.
I got hope and love. I don't know. I feel
think
like
my faith is like in between. It teeters. It
Yeah.
teeters too much.
Depending on the descriptor of faith, right? Like I have that faith in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now, if it's catering to like God,
Yeah,
I have faith in God. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me twisted. But it's like, once you study more than just Catholicism, Christianity, you start to realize that like you break yourself out of that little bubble of what Christian is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
I'm not an atheist. But
not at all.
I'm getting to the point where it's like I believe there's a higher power.
Yeah.
But probably just don't know the specific.
the closest thing I have to real faith is like when I'm going through a hard time, I'm like, God has a plan. I'm like, God has a plan. I just got to stick through
The
it.
guy with the most plot armor not having faith. Wow.
Hey, I got plenty of faith. It's just I'm not out here like, oh, you know what? I pray to God all the
He's
time.
coasting his faith too, bro.
Yeah, I pray to God all the time. I'm not gonna go to church.
I feel like if you don't have hope, though, that's just miserable.
Well, yeah, but hope is hard to come by nowadays.
Is it though?
It is. Cause
I feel
well,
like you just gotta be positive and just know that shit will get better.
but things have not been.
Well,
good.
that's all subjective, right?
Yeah.
It's like I know people who put themselves in a bad place and keep putting themselves in a bad place, and they're like, it's a hopeless world. But at the same time, they've done nothing to really help them. It's one of those things. God's trying to help you, bro, but you're not helping yourself. Come on
I
now.
mean, like there are people, right, that were all like, have you guys ever seen those posts when it was like when you were banking on the government to collapse by now, but now you're 26 and you got to get a job? Like, there's like I have hope for most things, right? Like we have hope. Everything is working. Don't think there's a thing out there now that people are like, this is bad. We're just gonna leave it bad. I
Yeah.
think there's always gonna be somebody out there that's like, no, we're working towards a better solution.
Yeah.
And that's why I have hope for that. There's always going to be a better solution and we'll eventually find it. But hope can also be like, oh, like I hope that these layoffs at these giant tech companies finally stop. And you don't see them stopping or they're
Yeah,
even
I've
getting
heard
bigger.
a lot of
And
people
so you
getting
don't have a
laid
lot of
off.
hope in that. If we're talking just general hope for the world, I have a lot of hope for the world because quite frankly, a lot of the world is just trying to not get blown up anymore. And if that's where our baseline is at, what?
Love, is it just a relationship?
We learned this in like our junior year, but it's like the Greek, the word love.
Pathos.
Agape. It's the agape form, which is the highest form of love, charity, the love of God for man and of man for God. This is we're getting to very Christian territory here.
Right.
Let's go to cardinal virtues. Let's do those ones because those ones don't really touch on the faith aspect too hard.
Yeah.
Temperance.
Which again, some of us need to work on. Not all of us. Like I have to work on humility.
I was just about to say, humble are we?
I have to work on humility. Listen,
I just saw his humility stat go down a bit.
no, my humility stat, if we're all being honest, is a very low because I'm that guy that will openly admit to having plot armor.
God play complex, God armor.
I got plot armor. I got a weird thing with God complex where I'm all like, one day I'm just gonna be chosen. One day the world's gonna look at me and be like, this motherfucker out here. But until that day comes, I'm gonna coast. I'm not gonna earn that right. I'm a land.
Given to me like everything else.
Listen, I'm gonna land where I need to land for God to put me through my trials, and we're gonna find out where it goes. But until then,
All right, number 2, justice.
I don't know if I got a strong sense of justice. Yeah, I don't know if I got a strong sense of justice.
Right or wrong, you're it's the same. It's like it's the opposite of temperance, where it's like, or it's the complement to temperance, and you're choosing right.
I don't know.
Even as hard as it gets, you're choosing right.
It depends. Think about it, right? I did openly admit to going, I could have done that project if I had just been on my shit, but instead I spent $30 to buy somebody else's. I'm not learning when I'm paying all this money to learn, and I'm just gonna have that project. So when I go in to turn it in, let's say I got a good grade on that, it would have been unfair.
Yeah, is it? I was gonna say on the Libra scale, right? On the scales of a Libra, you're not gonna weigh it in bias of anything, right? Someone goes, okay, here's this. Is it good or bad? And you're going, okay, I have to say it's bad. It truly is bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's choosing the just. It's being just, right?
Yeah.
It's being fair. It's being honest.
And again, for me,
When
it's
dealt
hard
the
for-
hand, you're going, hey, I gotta be, I gotta put my foot down on this one. Y'all are not being just. Y'all are not being good. Gotta fucking cut it out.
What?
I feel like I got that.
I don't know.
I
if
think so
got
too.
that.
I think I have a strong sense of justice, to be really honest.
I think I'm just too on everybody's side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're Mr.
Switzerland.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really enacting justice.
Too Nice
I'm
over
just
here.
being like, hey, don't be mean. You know what I mean? Where I'm like,
Kendall will not go out of his way to stop someone on their path.
yeah.
That's the thing.
I feel like if you saw some shit like in person going down, that was fucked up. You would step.
Yeah, I would, but like,
How much,
I
though?
work hard to avoid having that situation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm not like
I
out
work
here
hard
like-
to confront those situations.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right?
right.
I'm working hard so I could get to that high level where I'm like, oh, dude, this is where the ugly is at. Let's handle it.
Right. And I'm like, ooh, that's getting real ugly.
Let's
I'm
work
gonna
so
remove
hard
myself.
that I go that way from it.
Right. Just like this, I'm not gonna talk about it on the podcast, but you remember summer of senior year. I will say that was my lowest point of justice, because honestly, nobody was treating Cassie right during that time. And I should have stood up and I should have been like, we need to take a moment and understand, like, this is not just me, but everybody was looking at me. You know what I mean?
I wasn't there.
You were not there. You were in India.
And when I came back, I'm like, I was on her.
But you were there. You were there.
I caught the tail end of it.
Yes.
I literally caught the end of all of that.
Yeah, I just feel like that. No offense to anyone involved in that situation.
Like when I joined the group was literally post incident. Yeah.
No
What?
offense to anyone in that situation. If Steve and I were the first ones to find out, it would have been.
It would have been way
Shit, it
different.
would've
That
been.
that yeah, that would have been a way different.
But to be
result.
fair, me and Cassie weren't even the first
Yeah.
ones to find out. like they went in there, like they checked the documents themselves without us even consenting or like giving them the password. They were like, we went in while you were at work and we saw the results, and y'all got some shit to handle. And I'm like, okay. And they were like, and when I showed, they were like, and you got to tell your parents. And I was like, okay. And like, if you don't, we will. I was like, yo, dog, all right, you're getting. This is not right. Right.
This ain't just, bro.
This is not right. So that's why. But ever since then, I've been working on making sure that anytime I do take an action, it's an action I genuinely believe is the right action.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that.
Yeah. Prudence. The quality being prudent. Cautiousness.
Yes.
It is
And yes.
we do not believe everything that we hear. We are wise and test every
Uh-oh.
spirit and every word. Dude, I kill that one.
I
love
I'm
that
killing
one a
it
lot.
now. I'm killing it now. But I do remember the panda on the plane. You remember that? Where
I
came home,
vaguely.
Panda diplomacy. I was like, where they let pandas fly on planes,
That's
and
right.
it's so cool. And I was like, no, panda diplomacy was actually when China would gift pandas to other countries.
Yeah.
And it would be like, oh. And now I learned this, and so now I don't. Anytime I hear something, I'm like, let's see if it's real or not, because it could. Honestly, we live in a time where anything could be real.
And everything could be fake.
Yep.
And then the last one is fortitude. It's being strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified. Oh, this is a phrase. Because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake
I don't
you.
have fortitude because I think God's with me, but I do have fortitude because I know they ain't thrown something at me that's broken me yet.
Overcome our fear and are willing to take risks.
Yeah. I definitely got fortitude down pat. I know that. I'm ready. What? Let the world come at me like they did senior year. Let the world fight me.
Courage in pain or adversity. I live for that shit, dude. I live to be fucking in pain and wait.
Yeah, I get that.
Hold on.
I know what you mean. Though.
I know it's inevitable. That's why.
I just, when I do it, I just love the person I've become. Because this is me normally. And I feel like I'm like Goku, but without any of the buffs. Like, I'm like, I like, let the world come at me. What?
I thought you were Krillin.
I am Krillin.
Thought he was
actually.
Yamcha.
No, let me fix that. I'm Krillin. I am definitely not supposed to be in half the situations I am in.
You
However,
out with your android wife. Come on now.
facts. she could kick my ass. But what I mean is, like, I'm never gonna look at a situation and go, yo, that's far beyond my ability to handle. I'm gonna go, we gonna handle it. We gonna figure it out. And if we don't figure it out, best believe I'm gonna stand back up when it's done. Like this semester, I definitely was like, I'm gonna fucking collapse. I'm on the verge of breaking. I don't know if I'm gonna pass anything. This is a struggle. I'm going in this. It felt like I was literally heading into a dogfight in finals. I was like, it was panic mode nonstop, late nights, just grinding and cramming all the information I could. And I finished that and I was all like, you didn't break me though. And I didn't even pass one class. And I was like, you didn't break me. I'll be back in the fall. I'll finish your shit up easy. Right.
You know, in the Battle of the Supers in Dragon Ball Super,
Yeah.
or the Battle of the Universes,
Yeah.
where like Master Roshi, Krillin, and Tien fall out,
Yeah.
and Beerus is just like, I was not expecting anything from you guys, but y'all did it. Y'all did something.
Right. I'm those three. I'm like, I'll fall out. But I have yet to find a
Right,
challenge
we know
that's broken.
he was like, I know you're not gonna win it for us, but y'all took some out.
Yeah.
Proud.
I've yet to find a challenge that has actually broken me. I'll be like, man, I left that broken. But
I
like,
feel like because you had hope, you didn't know how.
yeah.
And we'll end it on this note. We'll end it on this last thing. Is there a challenge that has broken you that you still have yet to revisit?
No, there is not. There is one challenge that did truly break me. And I mentioned that just a moment ago. But me and Kaz have been talking about it recently, and we understand now that like where we ended there just ultimately put us on the path to becoming better people. Like people that we are today is someone like I look at that person that I used to be when I broke all those years ago, and I say, you're gonna be stronger for it. It sucks and it's hard, but you're gonna be stronger for it, and your friends are gonna be there, and you're gonna look back and you'll be like, we are fucking nailing it, because we kind of are right now. At least y'all are. I like to believe I'm nailing it. But that's again plot armor. I only kind of have to get the general area for me to basically. You know, when they used to make those jokes about Hanzo mains in Overwatch, where it's like the normal headshot range is like an actual head. Hanzo was like twice as big. I'm Hanzo. I just need to get in that general area, headshot every time. What about you?
Pass. Vanille, you go while I think
Why
about it.
not?
I'll go back to me. Come back to me.
I think I do have one, just because I don't care. So there's definitely something that's like,
One day you're gonna have to come back to caring you is what you're saying.
yeah, but I think that all has to go back to me actually like trying to get in a relationship and trying to be like.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the one.
that is his one. Because I will say you're not out here like I'm looking for love. Like you're like
But like, even if I try to go on dates, I go on dates like I know I'm not gonna feel it.
right,
So it's just like there's definitely like a wall or something there that's broken.
right. You're gonna need to patch that up one day, and we could talk about that one time. But I need to find me personally. I need to find someone that you actually look at and go, I'm excited to see this person.
I think I've only had that once.
Right. And that's not. Yeah, I don't know if that's because of a trauma that I can't remember because I got shit memory, or if that's.
No, I think I'll explain this to Steve. It's like a catch-22 for me, where before that one incident, I never used to look for a feeling.
Yeah.
But then once that one person, because I knew there is a feeling that I'm supposed to like.
Yeah,
check
I
out.
understand that. I
Now
understand
I'm just,
that.
like, trying to find that. So I don't know if I'm taking enough time with people to get to it, or if I'm just like, I don't feel it, so let's just move on.
I
Yeah,
think,
save
yeah,
ourselves that time. I understand that one.
Yeah.
I understand that.
And to that, I
It's
honestly
like
don't
the
know.
allegory of decay. I would have been better off not knowing.
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. That's what I was watching in the car.
That's the hope shit, right? That's like that's literally on that hope shit,
Yeah.
right? Because I understand this really well, because I'm kind of similar in that sense where I'm like, I don't think I'm ever gonna find that spark that once fucking hit, and I'll go out there to try and find it. At the same time, like maybe same thing. Maybe I'm just not giving it enough time. At the same time, like the first time it fucking just smacked me in the face, instant. I'm like, if it's not even that much, if you can't even pull that much out of me, then it's like let's save ourselves both the time.
But
Maybe you could develop over time a different method, but the same method I'm applying here is not working.
But I think to that though, like that's because there's a guard you inevitably build as you experience those people. You know, like if anything, heaven forbid, anything happened between me and Cassie, right? It would be a long time before I'd ever go look at another person and go, "You could be it," because I would genuinely just be like, "No, I found it. I found it. It was there. I felt it." But now I have to find it again, and that's not for me. That's a lot of work, and I got to know if you're worth that much work, and I can't know that without finally being in your life, and by then I'm already committed, and I'm not here to go through another opposite of that feeling, right? Like if me and Cassie broke up, I'm not gonna be in it. I'm not gonna be in any mentality for a long time to be willing to look for that feeling again, to end up on having to go through the feeling of breaking up again. I couldn't, and I feel like that's just normal for everybody. Like you have to pull up that guard because if somebody ends up fumbling it, then you're just like, okay, well at least I was prepared for the fumble, but you can't fully be prepared for the fumble and have that feeling,
So back to me.
Yes.
Would say yes and no, and this is why. This is a little bit of, I have to explain this one a little bit. Left me broken and defeated. I mean, okay, so one of them was when I left California. Like I felt utterly like I was like, oh, I lost. This was a battle. This was a war I lost, and I fled. And I built myself up so much so that I was like, if I ever come back, I can handle it, and I did. When I came back, and I was like, dude, I was like the cautious hero. Like I overtrained for this shit.
Yeah.
And I handled it. And so that one was kind of off my back. But I had to leave Arizona for the same shit. And the same thing. I feel like if I go back to Arizona, just to visit, I feel like I'm going to be at a point in my life, as I am now, like I was already light years ahead. And I could have turned that task in a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I just keep stacking up those. Like I have all these tasks completed. Like the main quest is completed. I just got to collect the rewards essentially.
Yes.
And I just keep refusing not to. Because, and this is super toxic, and I know this is for me, but it's almost like a poison immunity at the same time, where I go, it makes me want to be a better person still.
Yeah.
Right? By knowing that I failed, or by knowing that this defeated me, and I have yet to redeem that part of me, and feel like that part of me can be whole again, by leaving that one piece not completed, right? The puzzle piece is right there. I could put it in any time. The moment, knowing that I haven't done that yet has made me want to keep bettering myself. So when I do complete that piece, I'm already on the fucking highest mountain I could be when it's done.
Yeah.
And it's just propelling me that much more to do so. So it's like voluntarily, yes, I have. But at the same time, I feel like I could get to the next fucking chapter anytime I want.
Right.
I choose not to because I was like, I'm just trying to be that OP fucking character that's like, okay, I want to get through this next chapter and have the next 10 chapters also done.
Right. But like,
or
right
not have to worry about the next 10.
But the way it's currently looking is you're overpowered on level 9 and you should be at level 10.
Yeah.
But you're like, well, nah, I'm still going to get more overpowered.
I'm going to pad my skills and stats on level 9. That way, when I hit level 10, I could just skyrocket through 10 to 20 to 40 to.
Right.
Now I'm level 100. And last time you guys looked, I was at level 9.
Right.
Like, it's literally like I'm sandbagging myself on purpose.
I mean, that's honestly, I did that. I've done that in a lot of video games.
Yeah.
Like Cloud. What game is Cloud from?
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy. I played. No. I played the other one.
It's Kingdom Hearts.
No, that's not. That's Sora.
Oh, what did you say?
I said Shulk.
I don't know that
Shulk is from
Fire Emblem.
Not Fire Emblem
I don't know.
either. It's Charles would know the game. It's whatever. Basically, I played that game and I was like, this is going to be so fun and graphics are dope and I can't wait to play the game. And Xenoblade. I played Xenoblade. I got to this giant field that had basically anything from like level 1 monsters to level 500.
Yeah.
And I got there and I was like, I'm not leaving this field until I can take down that level 500.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. And then but I made it to like level 50 or something. And I was like, I'm not playing this game anymore.
Yeah.
Because if I go to play the game now, I'm completely overpowered.
It's one hit kills everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
And then if I don't finish but I still haven't killed this one thing.
Right. But you're just in the opening field.
Right.
That's exactly it.
Exactly.
That's a great analogy.
Every
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I want to be able to get so OP. I could take on this level 600 monster that's just walking around in the middle of nowhere.
Right. It's
But
not
if I go
bothering
through the
anybody.
main storyline, everything's still level 10 while I'm a level 700. So just one-shotting everything. I
Exactly.
sneeze and I've already beat the whole chapter that they try to set me on.
Exactly. And now it's just the problem. Now it's just walking basically.
Yeah, essentially.
But I mean,
So it's
like,
a catch-22 for
I like
sure.
that question though. I like that question because everybody does have like that barrier that they let
100%.
hold them back, and letting go of that barrier is probably going to be. That's always like. I'll go back to something we said really early on. That's a canon event. Getting over that barrier is probably going to be what propels you into whatever that your next great thing is.
Yeah.
But on that note, we'll let you think about what barriers you have to overcome and what barriers you still have what you're carrying with you. And yeah,
That was a good one.
it was good. It's your boy Waffles,
And your boy Maui.
and this is Couch Surfing.
Peace.